just super excited to have you on, Jody. So I guess we're live now here, Real Fridays. Every Friday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is Real Fridays, which is America's most watched videocast on mortgage, housing, and real estate. It's been that way actually since the first episode. And in myself, Rick Rock, I represent Jody, sort of the mortgage banking segment. I'm sort of an expert retail mortgage banker, the economics of it, growth, the internal operating dynamics of a mortgage company. And Jeremy, who is miraculously ahead of Brock in the on-time arrival rates and metrics. Jeremy, so I've worked with Jeremy in the past a handful of times in other types of engagements, and it's hard to find a blend between like someone who's a lawyer who understands the regulatory sort of environment, but also has a really good intersection of technology, innovation, mortgage operations, that sort of thing. So I got to know Jeremy using him through that capacity, and then the more I sort of, he was like a Russian doll. The more I took a layer off of Jeremy, there was a whole new layer underneath him, and it was super beneficial. So I've loved working with Jeremy and getting to know him over the last several years. And then, of course, Brock, as everybody knows, is the Chief Revenue Officer at NewZip. He's our real estate tech, fintech. I was going to go a different direction with that comment, but he's our real estate fintech expert and leader. He's looked up to, I think, by a lot of people. Really carving his niche, as you know, Jody, in many years at Rocket, really making his way and doing really, really well at Rocket. But a lot of people in the outside world don't really know a lot about the inner workings of Rocket. So when he came outside of Rocket, he was just a lesser known figure to some degree by a lot of the IMB folks. And then Jeremy, I don't know, whenever I say that, I'm actually complimenting him because he's.
I know you are.
Well, it doesn't help when I'm complimenting him and you're laughing. Okay. But
he's still laughing about being called a Russian doll.
I know, I really am.
That's a unique descriptor. I like that.
Now look,
these intros each week are a roller coaster, and I really enjoy them.
Yeah,
Rick,
you know how
don't take my smiling to be.
There is a consistent theme across all of them, but I'll finish the thing with Brock. People have pulled me aside at conferences and said, "Love the balance of your show. Love the difference in personalities." And earlier on, and we've done the show for a couple of years now, people pulled me aside and was really curious about Brock and his background because they were so impressed with what he's done in a relatively short period of time in the mortgage business. Like he's done a lot, and he's really catapulted himself and his company that has been with NewZip on a very national stage. In ways where it takes people a career to do. He's done it in his first 10 or 12, 13 years in the business. So all of that, major compliments, and we are super happy to have Jody Hall, the head of the Mortgage Collaborative, here on Real Fridays.
Hey, Jody.
Hey, Jody.
Hi. Thank you for having me. I was waiting to see where Rick was going to go with. I thought am I the voodoo doll if Jeremy's the Russian
doll? No. Well, it's funny because I had said this. I was telling these guys prior to this that I've always been like the lenders I've always been a part of. I had always had a relationship with Lenders One. So I'd always looked at the Mortgage Collaborative with a tremendous amount of admiration, but I didn't really know a lot about it, quite honestly. And I was so impressed with the annual conference you guys had in Boston. I live, just a short distance outside of Boston. So it was easy for me to sort of crash the party, but I loved. There are some real differences from what I've experienced in the past with different associations that I experienced, and I'm still sort of processing and digesting, what that experience was and what that difference was that I'm accustomed to. But the environment was very serious, very intimate. It was kind of like the right balance between being a really serious body of professionals trying to sort of navigate the market together with different innovations and solutions and ideas, and then an intimacy of people that are also, you're in this, this industry family together, and you're evolving our careers in this together. And I thought you did just an amazing job with the speakers, the structure, the location, the venue, just the organization of it. I thought it was thought it was excellent.
Yeah. I tell everyone this and it blows their mind. We have one person who runs events at TMZ.
That's why.
And she really is the head of experience. It isn't events, because it's Amy Bohr, and she has done an amazing job in understanding who we are and making sure that, the events that we do, where we do them, she just does a phenomenal job of making it a really fun place to be able to learn and to collaborate. I came to the Mortgage Collaborative, as you all know, that I'm a recovering lender. So I was a member of the Mortgage Collaborative when I was at Cross Country Mortgage. And so we joined in 2017. And then as my career progressed, I went to Nationwide Mortgage Bankers. We were also members of the Mortgage Collaborative.
Why are they trying to cover up the...
We had a interesting, I never have been a part of Lenders One. I think we're two unique organizations, and there's a place for both of us. And some lenders choose to be part of both. I just didn't have the capacity from a travel perspective to do more than just go, 2 feet in with the Mortgage Collaborative. And I was able to forge relationships and collaborate with other C-suites on running the business that was, there's no dollar amount I can put on the value that I got out of that. And I really feel like it shaped me as a leader, and it really built my network. Then, fast forward to NMB, it was a very lonely place to be leading a mortgage company during the pandemic. We didn't have a playbook. And the relationships of there was a cap markets working group at the Mortgage Collaborative every single day, trying to navigate all of the fluctuation within the market. It was for weeks that every business day that the cap markets working group was together. The human resources working group was together, trying to navigate, how do we get everyone remote? How, even coming back, and the amount of information sharing. And even though many of us were competitors and, had been swapping loan officers, that barrier comes down inside the walls of the Mortgage Collaborative, and being able to help navigate and help lead. And you can't describe, it's almost impossible to describe the amount of benefit a leader can get out of the Mortgage Collaborative just from the intimate collaborative information sharing that happens inside of the organization.
Yeah, right on. I remember that time as well, but I don't think we had that same level of partnership, right? We were on an internal call twice a day, every day in capital markets in ours. So that's actually really cool to hear. And it makes a lot of sense of what that meant, especially at that time. I want to take the bait on the toy metaphor we've started here, and I want to go with the magic 8-ball for you, because I think that works. And I wanted to ask you, this is a specific kind of vendor relationship to lender question. We have this constant dance of vendors are trying to get in front of lenders. Lenders are getting inundated with every new thing all the time. Do you have it? Do you want it? The Mortgage Collaborative has to navigate that. And we can absolutely talk about how you do that tactically and practically, but actually more like philosophical question. I've been going around saying that if you're trying to sell to lenders, just know lenders don't always buy the best product. It is not always the best product that wins in our industry.
Yeah.
Often a variety of factors that have their own weighted calculation depending on what lender you're talking to. Sometimes it's relationships and trust. Sometimes it's bundled with other services that I'm already buying. Sometimes it's just the timing of agreements. It's as simple as that. I'm in agreements I can't get out of, and even though it's the best, I'm going to have to pass on this one, blah, blah, blah. I guess I'm asking you for a little bit of validation, but more so your view on, is that accurate? And is that an okay place to be? as a lender, and where should we think about it when we talk to our technology partners?
Yeah.
Yeah. Take
Magic 8 Ball says, don't touch that question.
Mission accomplished. Yeah.
But what I will say is, I think that I have a unique history in that I've been on both sides. So I've been the C-suite at a large lender and have gone to conferences and am completely overwhelmed by just the number of tried interactions and the speed dating. It's not comfortable for me. And I've had some people criticize me for saying this, some of our partners, but it's a feeling. So if you want to criticize the way I feel about something, like, okay. But we are unique at the Mortgage Collaborative. And I think that my experience from being, running my consulting company and also representing tech companies, and having been a lender and being able to marry that and make it work, it's a balancing act. Part of the way tactically that we do that at the Mortgage Collaborative is that we have exclusionaries in each vertical. So it's like 3 POSs, 3 LOSs, can't talk to me until someone chooses to leave. As we have seen technology evolve and we have opened up additional segments, and so there's like some overlap in those areas. But what I tell, whether I'm talking to a company that's looking at presenting at Tech Day, or I'm talking to a prospective preferred partner about coming in, hard sales does not work at the Mortgage Collaborative. It has to be relationship based. And it makes people cringe when I say some of our most successful partners do not set meetings prior to getting to the conference, because we give a tremendous amount of opportunity for our preferred partners to be able to collaborate, whether it's extending coffee breaks. We don't have programming during breakfast and during lunch. Like, we wait until those things, there will be a piece of programming, but there isn't a significant amount of overlap, because it allows our preferred partners to very relationship-wise sit down and break bread with someone and have a conversation. What do you do? We don't do vendor halls. We have, there are 5 tables with some of our preferred partners because of the type of service that they offer. They'll set up a table next to registration. Our badges are not different. You cannot differentiate a lender from a member. And I think the other piece that is probably like it helps facilitate that type of relationship. We do lightning showcases where our preferred partners get to present to lenders. We make sure that lenders are in the room. This is my only claim to greatness at TMC, because I've been here such a short period of time that the team really has it. I just get to have fun and orchestrate all of it. But they're like, we have to get lenders into the lightning showcases. How do we do it? I go, we serve them alcohol. So we serve champagne and Bloody Marys in the morning sessions, and we serve beer and wine in the afternoon sessions. It's like, you want to get a mortgage lender someplace, give them booze.
Tried and true.
But in all seriousness, they are able to demonstrate their product in a very non-invasive way. And it gives the lenders the opportunity to see a lot of different companies and what they're offering, even if it's someone that they already have a relationship with. So I really feel like, and I mean, we have lots of conversations and I think that that's because of my experience. I bring that unique leadership where it's like, listen, we need our preferred partners. They allow us to be able to do the things that we're able to do, and they represent us well. Our preferred partners are referring, lender members in. They're helping us grow our business. It makes it better. The more lender members that we have, the more value our lender members get from being able to have conversations with other people instead of having the same conversation with people over and over. And somehow it has meshed as a very unique environment. There's not degrees of unique. It is a unique environment that is, it's almost like culture at a company. It takes a long time to build, and it takes a very short time to deteriorate. And so it's something that we always have in the forefront of our mind.
Yeah.
So sorry for the long magic 8-ball answer.
That's not a long answer. That's the right answer. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think you have some elements there that nobody else has, to your point, and that makes a big difference. And then I also think that level of trust of repeat players. I'm coming back every event. I'm coming back to all the things. I see you here every time, so I can trust that you're in this. You're in this for the long haul, like the rest of us. Yeah. Yeah.
And, from a branding perspective, it might not be so good for some of our preferred partners, but, we have preferred partners who have sent the same representatives time and time again, to the point that when a lender brings something up, they're like, oh, go see the specific person, not the company. And it's like the platform or the technology the person has become that being.
That thing. Yeah. Right. Oh,
yeah. Yeah. We've seen that firsthand. Audi pitched last year at the TMC Tech Day. And I got to attend in Boston.
Was it Denver? Was the Tech Day?
Yeah, the Denver one was that was a little over a year ago, I think, right? Like a year and a half.
Yep. Yeah. It was September of 24.
Yeah, and so I didn't attend that one, but he was a big fan of that. We were, pretty much outsiders to that group for the most part. I went back this year to some of the event, the Tech Day, and I thought that was really well done. The other thing I really liked that you guys did at the Tech Day that I hadn't seen before was the kind of natural breakouts. You sent everyone that pitched to a table, whoever you want to go talk to. I hung out with Niles from Nessman, who won at his table, and it was a lot of fun. So I like that it was, off script. You didn't even know, who's who. He was talking about things that affect NewsZip, and I just asked him some questions totally unrelated. I think it was a good example for me, as you were speaking, of like no one's hard selling, right? We definitely felt that firsthand. I know I assume Jeremy did too, because I remember we were talking a few minutes after that.
So can I share some news?
Yeah,
sure.
So Brock was talking about Tech Day. So we, for the last 4.5 years, have had Tech Day on Sunday of our conferences, at both conferences for the winter and the summer conference. Boston was the last one. And the reason being is there's a number of reasons. One of them is that we do collab labs on Sunday of conference, where our like companies and like size companies get together and collaborate on everything from, they're seeing their business and really helping each other run their business. And we historically have cut the IMB collab lab short so that they could attend Tech Day. So we made the decision, Tech Day is going to stand on its own. So it'll be a separate conference in 2026. We're doing some final planning around that. But Brock, what you experienced, the breakout session was a hit. It was a hit. It was a hit for our lender members. It was a hit for our preferred partners. It was a hit for the presenters. And then we also had some capital partners in the room that enjoyed it. So we'll essentially do Tech Day ×3 in one day. And then we have some ideas around competing companies that are established companies competing on the second day. So final decisions are being made. We will look to announce that by the end of the year, but it's going to be mid-year, and it will be a standalone event. And that gives us the opportunity to invite lenders outside of the network, and also invite vendors who are not preferred partners.
Brock, does that sound like similar to the Lending Tree Summit that you go to in Charlotte, where the kind of an innovation tech day or a couple days? Where the people do pitches, and then there's kind of a review of various tech demos. Does that sound similar to that?
I think it's similar in the sense of it's a totally mixed room between like trusted lenders and like handpicked vendors. I think the difference is that they blend that into a day. So it's like 20% of the day is innovation pitches and 80% of the day is information for lenders from LendingTree and so on and so forth, panels. So it's different in that sense. I love the idea of breaking out a full conference for the what LendingTree calls the Innovation Summit, or what you call Tech Day. I think that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, obviously those are natural rooms for myself and Audie and our team to be in. And so we love those kind of mixed events, like you were saying, where there's trust. It doesn't matter whether you're a vendor, partner, lender, you're just someone participating in the industry there.
What's frustrated me about the whole vendor selection process, and this might be an ingredient to this particular showcase, is that, lenders generally don't look for vendors until there's a problem, or until there's a series of complaints that lead to a certain level of momentum internally to say, okay, finally we've had enough paying the same high bill over a period of time, or we're tired of the downtime, or we're tired of the consistent complaints by sales, or whatever the case may be. And I've always been one that has prioritized a certain period of my week to, opening myself up to demos of companies I haven't heard of, or products that I find interesting, just to be able to give me a sense of what the competition is doing, because obviously the competition's plugging into these platforms, how the technology is evolving. But so I've always had this sense of foresight, but I don't see that a lot, because people get so tunneled down with their head down into their current, tech stacks, that it just stifles innovation. It stifles their curiosity or their competitive edge in the business. And then they find out, that there's a whole new way of doing it, or a better way, or a more efficient way. And then they're, 2 years or 3 years behind.
So, Dr. Rick, I would like to disagree with you.
Yeah.
I think that the leadership at mortgage companies has evolved, and they are looking for solutions before they have a problem. At least the lenders that I interact with. And part of it's because of the Mortgage Collaborative. We have a technology working group. So, everybody, owners come, CTOs come, operators come, and they're having open conversations about what are you seeing in the market and how is it helping you? So they're including that as they're looking for, what are my 2026 initiatives going to be? They're having those conversations. Our owner operator working group, they're having those conversations about what is it that is going to, be in the future that I need to be in front of. So I think that there's a lot of lenders that are basically taking your approach, where they are carving out time. I just think that they do it in a different way than potentially that you do with the resources that we have through.
I love hearing that. And I think lenders who are going to survive are going to be the ones that are going to be more forward thinking, especially in this age, because as AI and like the tech, it used to be, remember the older, not too long ago, sort of innovation tech life cycles, where it's like 6 to 8 months for development, 3 to 6 months for initial beta rollout with feedback and improvements, and then you might have another 6 months where you actually roll out a live product, right? So the life cycle was anywhere from 8 to 16 months. Every time you did a major release, and then if you would just do maybe micro, updates and patches, along the way. Now it's like every 3 months. There's 3 to 4 months. They say with AI, every 90 days, it's basically doubling its capacity and its reach. And it's only going to cater to those who are much more forward thinking, is my point.
Yeah, we are being a lender and being a forward thinking lender over the years, because I geek out on the technology in the mortgage industry. We would always joke with each other in collab labs or in working groups. There would be a group of us. It's like, you try it first. And like, no, you try it first, because no one wants to be the first. We want to be the close second or the close third.
Yeah, for sure. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, we used to joke about that because at Rocket, it would often be something with Fannie and Freddie where, like, why did we do all this work to have it then get immediately released to everybody else type of thing?
Yeah.
Often that advantage still played for a year or two in some cases, depending on how big the change was. I think the exciting thing about Tech Day is a lot of the questions that everyone has don't get answered in the traditional like demo format at a conference or the traditional like talking points that seem to kind of fade into gibberish after a while. And getting a practical view side by side in the same place. And also I'll just mention, like, and it's technology generally, you know, not just AI or not just this or not just that. I think those characteristics make it, again, to use the word that you use, unique in the sense that we don't have a ton of that. We don't have a ton of practical side by side. Let's take a look. And I feel like other industries, like especially big tech, consumer tech, does have that. They go head to head. They go side by side in Silicon Valley and show their wares. And we can do that, and we should do that. And it'll really, really help us keep up with what Rick was talking about, the speed of the game.
Accelerate collaborative transformation. That's our name.
Yeah, great buzzwords. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question about just overall, like give me a demographic of the membership over at the Mortgage Collaborative. Are they full blown IMBs? Are they brokers? Are you weaving in any wholesale lenders, non-delegated correspondent? Like, how are you, or is it all the above?
So not brokers. So we're retail originators, IMBs, and depositories, so credit unions, community banks. Today, our demographic is a 50-50 split. So 50% are depositories and 50% are IMBs. Historically, we have had like 60% IMBs, 40% credit unions and community banks. One of the reasons for the shift is a lot of credit unions are trying to run their mortgage operations as IMBs do, as retail originators. So they see a tremendous amount of value in being able to be in the environment where they're sharing with that. And then we also have seen a significant amount of consolidation in our IMBs. I mean, we've seen it in all types of lenders. We had a bank acquire two banks. So we went from 3 members to 1 member, but we have the same amount. I actually just got the market share. iEmergent is one of our preferred partners, and they did a market share analysis for us. And we historically have been around 10% market share. So 10% of the total volume in the industry. And at the end of September, we were 12.2% of the volume. So even though we've had a decrease in the number of our lenders through consolidation, acquisition, and mergers, we have had an increase in the market share. And I think that clearly shows that some of our lender members are doing the acquiring to be able to increase that. So we have some wholesale and correspondent, but it's usually because they have a greater retail presence. So they have like a wholesale division or a correspondent division as part of the lender. We do have some correspondent investors who are preferred partners of the Mortgage Collaborative. So they're buying the loans of our membership.
Got it. Interesting. And on the M&A front, are there any conversations internally? Do you facilitate any conversations in that regard? That must be a conversation where people are like, hey,
No.
We're looking at this, or we might be looking at this option. Like, so if one of your members wanted to sell, they wouldn't go to you and say, hey, can you play matchmaker, Jody? Like, who might be a good fit? Because I'm so busy running my own company.
Well, I'm sure they go to Jody, the person, but do they go to TMC?
I get a lot of, hey, I'm looking to acquire. Do you know anybody that wants to be acquired? We do have some who will voice up, say, hey, I'm done. Where am I going? But it's more on a personal level to me. I don't know before me if that was happening. Obviously, if I have someone who is a preferred partner who is looking to sell, if I'm going to try to match them with a preferred partner.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, or if I know of someone on, that's not a part of the network who is looking to be sold, I'm talking to our lender members who are looking to acquire to try to make that match, because, my job is to grow the membership, and not only just in membership, labels, but in the amount of market share that we cover as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I get that, but it's not part of what we do as an organization.
Yeah. To keep digging on what TMC is and isn't, the value of the events and the trusted room, the trusted brand of everyone in it, from strategic partners, technology partners, lenders, is what I always see as the big thing. And we already hit on that. Do lenders think of it also as as a literal cost saver? Like, you pre-negotiated deals that they can save X amount of hard costs on? I've heard that. I've never really thought too much more about it.
Yeah. Our preferred partners offer discounts to the membership, or, the correspondent investors offer basis points to be able to do business. So generally our membership is, if they're looking for something, they're going to go to the preferred partners first. And, we're constantly looking to make sure that we have the best in class preferred partners. And I think we have added quite a few preferred partners that are leaders in segments this year. And we'll continue to look to do that to drive more value. And we survey our members. We do a pulse of the network twice a year, and then we do a survey post each conference. We share the pulse of the network, and we do press releases on it. And it really gives us representation for what our lender members are looking to do. So that guides us in how we set the agendas for conference and what they want to talk about. But it also guides us in who we're looking for in a preferred partner perspective. We've had a big push on the construction side, and our members want to do more construction, or they are already doing a lot of construction, but they need that collaboration of other people. So could they be doing things differently? They've said, we want, platforms in. So we have brought in platforms in the construction space. We're doing the same thing currently on the servicing space. We have a lot of our depositories and the credit unions have their own portfolios that they service. And we do have sub-servicers, but they need things like, how do I process payments and how do I do interim servicing? So we're continuing to look at preferred partners that can help support our lender members, but it is the cost of the membership is more than paid for by the discounts and the basis points patronage on correspondent business. There was a question about the do we know the average size of depositories? I don't. We generally are a small to mid-size organization. We have large lenders, large credit unions, and larger banks in our network, but it's because they came in as a small to mid-size and they grew. We do have we have some very large lenders in the network, but that's how it evolved. We generally are recruiting small, mid-size companies.
Yeah, I appreciate the perspective on what the membership is asking for from a TMC. I'm also kind of curious what you've identified, Jody's view on what are some of the pressing issues that lenders are dealing with today and likely to be the ones we're talking about for the next 0 to 6 months. What's your view on where we're at?
I don't think the LO comp ever goes away.
Yeah.
So I think that the LO comp is driven by the market, and that's an area that no lender wants to be the first to change, because then they're jumping to the next one. I think that lenders, and what I see in talking to a lot of technology providers, is Return on investment is hard to calculate if you are not changing your culture.
Anything else? Yeah. If you're not changing anything else, you're just adding a tool.
Yeah.
Then,
So we've seen a significant amount of lenders ripping stuff out, and because they're unwilling to change their workflow or change the way in which they do business. And I responded to Rich Swerbinsky's had the LinkedIn post, and you are not going to be able to get below $12,000 cost to originate a loan. Let's throw out whatever the LO comp there. Let's not touch that piece. You're not going to be able, with LO comp staying the same, you are not going to be able to drive down and increase your profit if you do not change your philosophy. Let's be real. We can pretend as much as we want to that we're going to have a refinance boom, and that every lender thinks that they're going to be the one that grabs the majority of that. But not everybody. We might have a boomlet. We're not going to have a boom. Right. And you have to really look at yourself, and are you really able to capture a greater percentage of market share? Likely not. So you need to be able to change the way that you do business, because you can't continue to pay 20 underwriters an amount of money without augmenting, which means that some of your underwriters aren't going to make it. And I know it's an extremely unpopular opinion, but I think that it's reality. And I think that if lenders want to survive, and if they want to, make money hand over fist, you're going to have to change the way that you do business. And if you're not willing, stop adding technology if you aren't going to.
You got to change anything else. That's a great. Yes.
Yeah. It's just, it isn't, it's
great.
just, you're just shelling out more dollars. You're not going to be successful. You're not going to have return on investment, and you're going to be yelling at your preferred partner because you don't have return on investment because you're unwilling to change your process.
Yeah. Yeah, my friend Marvin Chang and I have been talking a lot about coming up with a new acronym, because we know people like hooks. I mean, they like acronyms because they seem to work with human nature. So we were actually going to try to come up with something that's like the 2.0 version, where you can actually think about it differently, measure it differently, talk about it differently, because it feels like, at least over the last decade, if not more, ROI has sort of become completely meaningless in the way that we've tried to talk about it and failed, and then we apply it sort of clumsily, and then it doesn't actually work. And so anyway, I think that's a great point. I appreciate that.
On ROI too, I think we always we're always looking at dollars, right? Bottom line dollars. And we completely missed the point. And I'll give Craig Ungaro at Annie Mac credit for this, because he has always been we've always been in the same collab lab at TMC. Even I was at 2 different companies. That's how we originally met. And he always talks about, like, what's the soft ROI? Are you putting, I think underwriting technology or email technology is the easiest way to talk about it, because no one feels threatened by it. But I don't know if we have a technology, which there are companies that do this now, that they will draft your emails for you to be able to send. So it's like, you're paying for that. You don't see a dollar amount ROI, because crazy people like me will just work, 100 hours a week to make sure that my email box is under control. So you don't see a dollar amount, but the amount of that soft ROI is having the ability to work on things that are more important. It's often very difficult to quantify. And it often, because if you've been in the industry a long time, we only talk about ROI generally in dollar amounts.
That's right. Or we don't talk about at all what you're not doing, what you're choosing not to do in favor of something else. We don't factor that in hardly at all. Yeah, agreed.
Yep.
No, I think I appreciate it. There's a big Eagles-Lions game this weekend. So I've been texting with Craig, because I grew up in Pennsylvania, and so I have an Eagles-Lions. I have a problem in my life now that I live in Detroit. So go Birds!
Oh, geez!
Wow. I was expecting to go Birds.
Were you at Boston at the opening reception? And so we had a tailgate theme.
I did not get in the picture because I wasn't wearing green at the time.
Okay.
I saw the Philadelphia Eagles picture happen during the Chiefs game. Yes.
Yeah. I was like, come on.
But I'm a divided house now because we're in Detroit. So, but hello, Craig. Good to talk to you.
Awesome.
Right on. So thank you. And yeah, thanks for being with us. Rick, any closing thoughts here in the last minute?
No, look, I'm rooting for you and your leadership. I know it's been really well received, by lenders looking from the outside in and lenders within who are members of the Mortgage Collaborative. I still want to get NFM signed up, so I know we need to talk about that. And I do want to, and I think you had mentioned that you might be launching like an individual membership too for individuals who want to become part of it. So I wouldn't mind, personally participating in that, just to help support what you're doing and to support your efforts to expand, the collaborative's influence. So I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going from here.
The individual subscription is launching before the end of the month.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. Well, will we gladly accept the complimentary passes here at Real Fridays for having you on the show? We'd love to.
You can support by coming to Tech Day and buying a ticket.
I would love to do that. And when you do, when is your next series of conferences here coming up?
We have Desert Disruption in Scottsdale, February the 22nd through the 24th. August is the time we're looking for the Impact, which is our replacement for Tech Days.
Yeah.
And then our conference in September is, I think it's the 20th through the 22nd. We will let you know where that's at after. We usually announce it at conference, so we'll announce it in February. So the dates are set.
In Boston. That was great. The Fairmont was a great location for it. I think you guys did a great job with that.
Yeah, we're uber excited about Scottsdale. I keep telling everyone, if you're not there, you will have FOMO when you start seeing what's going to happen at opening reception. So I encourage everyone to get signed up and registered. It'll be epic.
And what was the date of that conference again?
Desert Disruption.
In the dates for that?
February 22nd through the 24th.
Got it. I'm going to put that on the calendar.
Time for us to get out of Massachusetts, Rick.
Yeah.
Those that want to come on the 21st, I'm going to say this and regret it. There's some golfing going on Saturday. We are not doing a golf scramble, but the list is growing on the golfers for Saturday evening.
Golfing in Scottsdale. Would have never guessed. Yeah.
And
awesome.
Where it is? And what hotel are you doing? Are you staying in it? Are you doing it in?
At the Hyatt.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yep. At the Hyatt. Is it Greeley Ranch Hyatt?
It's fantastic. Well,
it's beautiful. It's been redone, and yeah.
I just added that to our conference schedule, Brock, the shared document. So, but I look forward to it, Tony.
Better join the club by then, Rick. Yeah,
we're gonna have to. You're gonna have to be a partner before they partners and members.
Email me the lender packet. Let's do it. Thank you, Jody, so much. It's great to have you, and I look forward to seeing how 2026 unfolds under your leadership. So,
thank you for having me. It was fun.
Thanks, Jody. Great to see you.
Talk soon.